Well, good afternoon, evening, morning. Hello. The title that I've selected for today is this: Power to the People, Only with Cabal Collapse. As has been very common for me of late, many thoughts went through my mind today between the busy periods. I wasn't sure what I would talk about for this video and actually hoped I could have a conversation with Peter or someone else. For your information, Peter's not been feeling well. Anyway, I read the comments by David Wilcock on Benjamin Fulford's blog a short while ago. He tells the story about Daddy Bush's meeting with Obama right after the election in 2008. I've heard this before, but not recently. Anyway, he said rumors indicate that Obama is working with Putin to bring down the cabal. No matter how it happens, I know that the people will not be empowered or enriched until the cabal collapses. That's a huge and necessary undertaking, and I wish Godspeed to all involved. And then I post one of several links to the report that I just mentioned about David Wilcock on Benjamin Fulford's blog. And this particular one is Stillness in the Storm on that blog. Anyway, David said in his final comment today at 1:23 a.m., I guess Pacific time, or I'm not sure where he is. Anyway, I might have even said where he is, but I forget. This is not fun stuff to look at when we get into the negative aspects, but overall we are going through a vast planetary healing process and things will get much better. Everyone thinks these things will be gradual until major events take place. It does seem we are now on the verge of not one, but a series of major events. I look forward to it, David. Again, that's David Wilcock, and I just read the final comment in the blog as I'm looking at it right now. I have been sensing myself that we're like in a lull. I've been trying to keep my finger on the pulse of the positive changes as much as possible. And it feels like to me that we've been right on the edge of breaking through a number of times over the past couple months at least. And yet something has seemed to stall it in the middle of the process, and it hasn't gone forward the way that it felt like it was. It's like we get right up to the point of breaking through, and then somehow the wall gets reinforced, and the big change that we're waiting for doesn't happen. I do believe that, as I've said so many times as I've talked to you, that we're in a global and even a cosmic chess game between the powers that have been and the powers that are coming into being that will ultimately bless all of humanity, enriching us, empowering us, enlivening us, restoring us to our birthright, restoring our birthright to us, and just reconnecting us with our soul so that we have this cosmic awakening and we all of a sudden remember who we are. We realize that we can't get to where we're going by doing the things that we've always done. We're going to have to awaken. We're going to have to pay attention, and we're going to have to be involved, because we don't just snap our fingers and get a magic wand or something and wave it over and everything airy-fairy like changes. It just doesn't work that way. There's a lot of things that have to take place on the ground in physical reality. Although there are also, I believe, a lot of things that can take place to empower us on physical reality if we only get out of our own way, individually and collectively. And I do my very best to try to get out of my own way sometimes as I feel the energies and contemplate what's going on, and try to encourage and uplift people that are moving in a direction of positive change. I know people still see me as being negative because I talk about some of the issues that we have to overcome, and they see that as a negative thing. It's not to me at all. It's a very positive thing, but some people are stuck in the mindset that if it sounds negative, it can't be good for you. Well, embracing the shadow is always good for us. And what what David shared on Benjamin's blog, and what I read earlier was the story about when Obama took office, Daddy Bush sat him down and basically told him, you may have good intentions of bringing positive change, but you follow orders, or otherwise, does JFK mean anything to you? Or your daughters are going to get raped right in front of you. That was one of the threats. I don't know that I saw that particular threat before, but I do know that Daddy Bush raped a little girl when I think he was even in the White House back in the late 80s, early 90s, after Reagan left office. I do believe that's about the period of time. It could have been after that, but when he raped, what was her name? Trance-Formation of America, Kathy O'Brien. He raped her daughter right in front of her. I mean, this man, Daddy Bush, is probably one of the sickest people on the planet, along with perhaps, what's the old decrepit guy's name? Not, is it Greenspan? Yeah, it might be. It might be Greenspan, but anyway, be that as it may, George Bush is not a good person, and he's well capable of pulling off the dastardly deed that it is reputed or reported to have been given to Obama. George Bush is not beyond that. The Bush family, and especially Senior Bush, is probably the worst of all the Bushes. And if you've been listening to any length of time, I don't really trust Obama. He hasn't done anything good, but I do think that there's been a lot of pressure put on him. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But in any case, if he's working with Putin, I do believe this. I do believe that Putin is actually one of the good guys. I do believe that the Chinese, I know China is not a model of clean environments or doing a whole bunch of things right, but I don't think that the Chinese are as evil as the Rockefellers and some of the Rothschilds and the Bushes, definitely. I don't think they're as evil-hearted as these people. I really do believe that there is going to be a system, as Benjamin Fulford talks about so many times, of meritocracy, based on leadership, based on merit, based on people that want to do right and want to do good. And Mr. Sino is one of those that I've mentioned before in the Swiss Indo. I don't sense that much is happening there right now. It seems like that's one of the things that's been stonewalled. It felt like it was moving in a very positive direction there for a while, but lately it doesn't feel that way to me. I could be wrong. I'm going by what I sense and what I pick up in talking to people and looking at emails and looking at information. I get an idea of what's going on in the world. But I do believe that there's a whole lot of people, a whole lot of good people that really do want to do the good thing. And some of them may not be people that you would expect want to do the right thing. I know there's been a lot of people down on Obama, myself included. But I welcome him to do good, to do the right thing if that's what he ends up doing. I'm not even against Daddy Bush. I want you to hear that. I'm not even against these people that are so horrible. I just want the crap to stop. I want the BS to come to an end. And so many others want that too. We are tremendously powerful, tremendously wealthy. Each of us as human beings have that capability in our potential field. But it's been thwarted by these cabal members, these dark workers, if you will, that have tried to keep the old system of greed and corruption intact as long as they can. Now they've awakened us with all their, I mean, they've been so bad that it has awakened us. It's awakened a lot of people. I had lunch today with a friend who didn't used to believe in any of this stuff. She's reading Confessions of an Economic Hitman and the the Creature from Jekyll Island, and I forget the other book that she named. That these are just current books that she's reading, and this is somebody that was very much mainstream, and she wanted to have lunch with me today and ask me questions and share some of the insights that she's been getting. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing to hear people that are waking up. I mean, I spoke in the video that was put up online today about the zombies, and there's still a lot of them around. A lot of people don't want to pay attention. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to see it. But there's a lot of people that I might not have ever guessed might wake up, and they're waking up. So things are happening, folks, and this is a very, very good sign. But I want you to just understand that some things cannot happen. Like for example, the World Trust Funds being released. That Swiss Indo, for example, wants to bless the world by putting all this wealth out to the people and to the nations of the world. It would have to be done gradually. It can't be dumped all at once because we wouldn't know how to handle it. For one thing, it has to be a readjustment to a new paradigm, and that does not happen with the snap of a finger or overnight. It can happen quickly if you take the people out of the way and curtail them by whatever means is necessary to stop them from throwing monkey wrenches in the whole thing. It won't do any good to release all the World Trust Funds if they're just going to get stolen as soon as they're released by these dark workers that still want to control everything and still want to bring a new world order of control and domination to the planet that Alex Jones and others have been warning us about. They have these horrible plans, but as David Wilcock said in his blog, and I encourage you to read it, he said that they've had many things that they've planned over the past couple of years have fallen flat. They've not been able to get them to go where they thought they were going to go. And whatever they plan, I do believe that ultimately it's going to work out for the good of humanity. I really do believe that, although I get apprehensive just like many of you do. And so don't be down on yourself if you sometimes have a negative day or a down day where you are looking at things pessimistically. We all go through that. And I want you to know that it's perfectly normal in the transition that we're going through to have days when we feel up and days that we don't feel up, that we feel down and that we're confused and that everything seems chaotic. I mean, I go through issues and personally and with people that I know that are very close to me. But some of those, I mean, I can't share the details of it, but I had an event in someone's life that happened very recently to me that was a total surprise, and it was good. It was a good surprise, something that none of us expected, and yet it turned out that way. Again, I have to protect privacy, so I cannot go into details on some things because that's one of the things that maybe I've been a little careless with it at points in the past, and I'm very sensitive of that now, that I don't have the right to tell other people's stories, even to make a positive point. But things are happening for good, and I want you to know that and to encourage you with that information. Don't lose heart. Keep the faith. Keep looking up. Keep looking for good things to happen because they're going to happen. And keep sharing with your friends as much as you can. Yeah, they may get tired of it, so know when to back off. Don't get overbearing with them, but by the same token, let your light shine. Share what you know. Share it in little pieces. Just drop clues here and there and let them pick up the crumbs. Because like my friend that I shared lunch with today, and I'm sharing lunch with another one tomorrow, gentlemen, people are waking up, folks. People are picking up these things. They're recognizing the reality of what's going on in the world and realizing that there are spiritual and geopolitical and economic changes afoot that are going to ultimately bring in what we've all been waiting for, what we've all hoped for. Our dreams are going to come true, and not our nightmares, our visions of a world at peace and a world in celebration. That's going to happen, folks. It can't be. It's certainly closer than it's ever been before, and I don't believe it can be far off. So I want to leave you with these words, and I want to encourage you to be empowered, be enriched in your mind, in your soul right now, and visualize yourself receiving the blessing of the Creator in your life, however that would be for you, that you would be uplifted and edified and built up in truth and in joy and in righteousness. Thank you for listening, and namaste. Bye bye. Where is it? There it is.